Welcome back to Lush Life, No Labels. I'm Michelle. I want to jump into the story of the week because I recently reconnected with some friends I haven't seen since before the holidays. And it actually felt like I was doing a post-holidays catch-up with a bunch of people, which has been great. I didn't realize how essentially everything after the Thanksgiving holiday is hectic in terms of work and all of the holidays. A lot of people travel to see family, to go on vacation, or just enjoy time off if they can. I went on vacation and typically I disconnect when I go away. So on my end, I wasn't really chatting with many people during that time. And it's been good to see what everyone's been up to and how things are going with the start of the new year. I actually like this topic because I consider friendship as one of my main pillars in terms of the people I connect with who I'd say really know me. And they are a key part of my community. Community is something I want to elaborate more on in a future episode, but today I'll just focus it on friendship. Many of my long-term friendships are actually long distance and have been for a long time. So it is something that I'm used to. And coming back has been good because I've set up FaceTimes and phone calls to catch up with people virtually. Some of these people I've known since high school, if you can believe that. Some are actually Alfredo, who I've known since college. And with all of these folks, we've made it work over the years in terms of not living in the same place or even in the same time zone sometimes. And for me, it's really important to interact with people I consider my friends, especially good friends, even if we don't live in the same state or even the same country. Whether it's planning specific trips to visit each other, travel together, or just communicate over the phone, these long-term friends and I have put in the effort to maintain our relationship. And long distance friendships definitely take on a different form than friendships with people who live in your same area. And it's funny because I have some friends who live in my area that I haven't seen in a while, some even a few months. We've tried to schedule time and or activities to see each other, but it just hasn't worked out until now, which can happen sometimes in life, especially with adult friendships, because everyone has their own lives and schedules that may not match up. Someone might be traveling or maybe feeling under the weather, but glad that I've been able to get something down with some of these friends. And I'd say, unfortunately, my number of friends who live in my area has dwindled over the past year. So, one thing I've been trying to do is work on getting more friends that I can hang out with in person because as important as my long distance friendships are, it is also important to have those in-person connections too. Um, and so one of the things that I want to talk about actually is how I've been attempting to make friends or how I've made friends recently. One first step is figuring out where to meet people. I've met people randomly while I've been out on the town, and I've also met people through mutual friends. It can be tough though, because you never know how it'll go, especially as an adult. When we're younger, we are in school, we see people every day and everyone lives together. And it's much easier to interact with people and to make friends. And there's a sense of, I want to go out and make friends when you're in those environments. But as we get older, people get a little more set in their ways. I do think it can be a little tougher to make friends. So it is important to find friends who you can get along with as they are. For example, a few years ago, I randomly met a friend actually on a bench. We were both watching one of those outdoor performances that happen in the summertime. I think it was like a dance slash comedy performance. We're both pretty short and we were standing on a bench to see the performers. But at some point, that bench started shaking and we both almost fell. And that's when we actually sort of met each other. We became fast friends. We'd go out together, eat together, have sleepovers, even connect on family stuff. But then one day she ghosted me. I hadn't heard from her. I reached out via phone to ask if she was okay. Never got a response back. I tried to reach out on social media that we were connected on, and silence. I was sad, but the closure was the silence. I have no ill will towards this person, and I hope she's good wherever she is. And I suspect something must have happened where she decided our friendship wasn't what she wanted, which again is unfortunate. It was a bit out of left field because I felt like we had gotten so close in a short amount of time, and we'd been friends for over a year at that point. So I guess I thought we were at a point where she could tell me what happened if there was an issue, but I guess not. There are some success stories though. I recently made a new friend through an introduction with another friend. Similarly, we hit it off. We've both invited each other to different events at this point and have spent more time together. And actually, we're planning to go check out a vinyl t-shirt shop where you can design your own t-shirt and pick different items that they sew into it or tape it on. And then we are going to go check out a new hot tea shop that opened up. So it's a nice winter activity. It's a nice way to get more time with this friend. And I am looking forward to that. It's good to have this time because I mentioned that I met this person through a mutual friend and we've all hung out together before, but I get to know people more when I have one-on-ones with them. If I meet someone in a group, I may not get as close to them until we hang out with each other because one-on-ones are more intimate and both people can engage. We can ask each other personal questions and get to know each other on that level without other people there. And I know people who have moved to new cities and met new friends through apps like Bumble BFF, through doing a hobby, or like I said before, just while they're out and about. And whether you meet someone organically while you're out through an introduction or an app, ultimately it depends on whether both people are willing to try and also if you have things in common and if your personalities match. But that trying piece to me has been the most important thing in my friendships. If a friendship has lasted a long time, in my world, it means that me and my friend have both put in the effort. If they're a long distance friend, we both reach out to each other to try to chat or to try to schedule something to meet up. If it's someone in my area, same thing. We both chat with each other. We both recommend outings. We both do this and that. If it were only one-sided, then I know that those friendships for me never lasted. I do want to say too, many people already have a set of friends, and sometimes people just want something surface level, which is also okay as long as that works for you too. As adults, I understand making friendships isn't always easy, and I've struggled with this as my friends have dwindled around me or have moved away. I used to think I was used to that, but I've been finding recently that I do want more people that I can hang out with and that I can connect with on different levels. So I've been putting in more and more effort to maintain the friendships that I have, to continue to try to meet up with people who I'm having blossoming friendships with. And then I'm also thinking about where else can I potentially meet someone who I could be a new friend to and who could be a new friend to me. And it's not always easy making friends or maintaining friendships, but it is important if you want to not only build a community around you, but also have a community that you can lean on. I've leaned on my friends for a lot of things over the years, emotional. My friends have been there for me through thick and thin, I'd say, in a lot of ways, and I've been there for them. And it's not just about, oh, let's hang out, but let me connect with this person. And so I do think as adults, sometimes we feel like, oh, I already know everybody that I already know. I'm not really interested in hanging out with this person. And if that's the case for you, nothing wrong with that. But if you are someone who does want to seek out more people or does want to expand your community, then I would encourage you to just look out and see who you might click with. And just, ask them. Sometimes friendships might start with small talk. right? I was actually talking with a friend who moved to another city recently, and we were talking about what are some ways that we can make better friends. And I said, oh, I actually want to know more neighbors of mine. I realized that I actually don't know anybody who I live around. Maybe we'll see each other in and out on the way, but it would be nice to at least have a small talk conversation with some of my neighbors, at least get to know their name because we all live around each other. And it's important to start building that community. You never know if you'll need your neighbor, if they may need you. And it's important that, especially if you live around people, I think there's a sense of camaraderie that could be helpful if you see each other a lot in the lobby. Nothing wrong with just giving a smile or saying hi. You never know where that'll head, and you don't need to commit to that, but it doesn't hurt to just smile at someone that you pass all the time in your lobby or outside, or even know your neighbors, because again, you never know. Maybe they'll help take out your trash. I know I've had neighbors do that for me who I've had camaraderie with. Sometimes there's a package that I'm waiting for. My neighbor, I might say, hey, do you mind watching out for that? So it could even be as little as that, or it could even just be we say hi to each other and that's it. But I just think it's important for us to think more about our friendships, not on an individual level, but more as a community basis, because there's a lot of loneliness happening in America. And I do think part of that is our lack of friendship, or at least our lack of wanting to maintain some of our friendships. Like I said, though, it's important to follow through with putting in some of that effort. As with any relationships, friendships work best if both people put in effort and the will to try, because that's how you'll start it. And ultimately, that's how you'll maintain it. So I definitely want to keep talking to you guys more about community, building community, and how to maintain that. But this week, I'd like to ask, what's the one most important thing to you when it comes to friendships? Thanks for listening to another episode of Lush Life, No Labels. New episodes will be on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube every Thursday morning. You can also follow me on Instagram at Lush Life No Labels _pod. And I'll have a very special guest in next week, so make sure you tune in. Bye.